students, in this part of chapter number 5, class 6 NCERT, we are going to study how different Janpad became Mahajanpad. So till now in past part 1 we have studied why Ashwamedha or the horse sacrifice was important, why Rajas were performing. Now what happened over a period of time, that these Rajas who were performing these big sacrifices, they became more powerful and they become the rulers of Mahajanpad. So around 2500 years ago, some Janpad became more important than others and were known as Mahajanpad. Now when they became more strong, so they had to fortify means they had to protect the city. Now what were they doing in city fortification? They had to like fortify, so they were using huge wood, brick or stone walls that was built around the fort to protect it. Now why was it needed? Why the kings were required to do it? Because they had become more powerful. Now three possible reasons for the same was that because people were afraid of attacks from other kings and they needed protection, and some king wanted to show that how rich and powerful they were by building huge impressive walls, and also people living in the fortified area could be controlled better way by the king. So these were the possible reasons that the city fortification was done and was important to be done. Now if in Mahajanpad, the Raja or the king had regular army. Now when the Raja was maintaining a regular army because he was to protect his kingdom, so there would be expenditure that will come, because for maintaining army, the weapons, that requires a lot of money. So he was to pay regular salaries to his soldiers. So maintaining the army required a lot of money. Some payments were made during using punch mark coins. So for this also the king needed money. But how would they get all these resources? Like even today, when the government, how our government works, different policies that they come up, welfare policies that they come up for poor, how are they funding these? What is the source of government to get money, to get the revenue, the income source? That is still there with the government. They use taxes. You must have heard in your families that parents are paying taxes, right? So this is a source of revenue. Not even today, in the history also, in the past also, kings had been levying taxes on people. Now because there was increased spending, so the kings needed taxes, the more resources and officers to collect these resources. Now in Janpad, we have seen that when the king used to perform the sacrifice after the Ashwamedh year, people used to offer him different gifts. So the king used to be dependent on those gifts only. But in Mahajanpad, people, the Raja started collecting regular taxes from the people. Now who were the people who were paying the taxes? So first of all, the farmers, because farming was a main important occupation for the people. Then we had craft person, then herders, then the traders, and the forest produced by the hunter and gatherers. Now for farmers, when they are producing, how would they pay tax to the king, to the Raja? So whatever the produces, suppose a farmer is growing wheat, so he'll go in the market, he will weigh his produce, his crop weight, and then 1/6 of that thing will go as a as tax to the Raja, which is called bhaga. So this was called bhaga in that time. Okay, then how would the craft person will pay to the king? So the craft person will not pay in monetary or in because he cannot give something in materialistic terms. So he will serve the king in terms of their labor. Suppose a craft person is a skilled person, say in pottery or in carving, so they would do that work for the king. Now herders were there, so when the herders are there, they will give the animals or their products to the king as the tax, and the traders will give their share. Suppose there is a purchasing and buying and selling activities going on, so they'll give their share to the king. Now hunter and gatherers were also there who did not who were not living in the city. So what would they give as tax to the king? The forest product like wood, medicine, bark of trees, hunted animals, etc. They will offer these things. So everybody who was living in the city, in the Mahajanpad, was to pay taxes to the king. Everybody was covered like this. Now there were big changes happening in the field of agriculture, and you've seen that in the last slide that when it comes to payment of taxes, the farmers were the one whom we have discussed, because there were big changes happening in agriculture because of the introduction of iron. And because use of iron was known to men that time, so the growing use of iron plowshare improved the production of agriculture for all different crops. Now because if you suppose you take an iron spoon or an iron knife, say, and you take a wooden knife, okay, or a wooden spoon. Now if you try to dig the soil, which will help you do the work more efficiently and more easily? Obviously the iron one, okay, or the metal one. So because the use of iron plowshare was there, so now the men could turn over the heavy and clay soil. So that led to the improved growth of agriculture production. Now there was one more technique that was taking place during this time, that was transplanting paddy. Now again you think that just imagine that you are sowing, start from the seed process. You all know that when we sow the seed, then it has to come to the it will mature itself into a sapling, that then it will grow into a plant. But if you, and it may not, sometimes it happens that seeds do not turn into saplings, it may also happen. But if you bring from the nursery, if you bring a ready-made sapling, so the fruit that you will get from this plant, which you're growing from the sapling, the growth will be rapid, okay, and the chances of dying this plant is very minimized. So when suppose there are two fields where we are using direct saplings, that will have, and in another field where we are using seeds. So where we are using seeds, the seeds might grow, may not grow because of different conditions. So when the introduction of transplanting paddy started, so the growth, the agriculture production also increased because of the use of saplings. Now there were two very important Mahajanpad that we are going to talk about. The first is Magda. Magad is like, this is the present day Bihar actually, and this became very important Mahajanpad of that time, very powerful, and we had very two important rulers of this period, of this kingdom, of this Mahajanpad, which were Bimbisara and Ajatashatru. Now the capital was initially it was Rajgriha, which is present day Rajgir. It is in Bihar, but now later after that it was shifted to Patliputra, which is again in present day Bihar. The Patliputra we call Patna today. Now in Magda, why this became a very powerful Mahajanpad? We'll look at the reasons. The first prime reason is the resources that it had. It had a very good river system. The river Ganga and Son flew through this kingdom. So these two rivers played a very important role in transport, in water supplies, in making the land fertile. It had further than it had because it had the river system were there, so they make the, in geography you have read that the rivers, when they come from the mountains, they carry the silt with them, the alluvial soil that makes the land very fertile. Okay, and plus the introduction of iron tools were there in agriculture, that added to the production. All these factors in combination added to the crop production for this Mahajanpad Magda. Then they had rich, the Magda Mahajanpad was rich in iron mines. So the iron that they used to extract from these mines, they were used in making weapons and plow in agriculture. Then the forest were also there in this kingdom. elephants were captured from there and they were trained to use in battles. Then obviously the rich forest that they had, the forest products were also used by the people. Now these two important rulers of this kingdom, they did everything best possible means to conquer the other Janpad, so that they became more powerful. Now in Europe, there was a place called Macedonia. You must have heard of Alexander the Great. This name is not new to you. So he was a very powerful ruler of that time, and his aim was to conquer the world. But he couldn't conquer the world. But he did conquer Egypt and parts of West Asia. But when he wanted to conquer, when he forwarded to Indian subcontinent, he could reach up to Beas River, but his soldiers refused to march further because they were away from their families for years and years. Plus, they were very tired up themselves of long battles. They were themselves very feeling homesick, and they were very tired. But after this Beas River also, he turned back because he could not move ahead, and he could not and his soldiers also had heard about the power that Indian kings had, so they were morally down. So when he was going back on his journey to Egypt, he developed high fever and he died on his journey. Now, Magda kingdom, we have done that it was a very powerful Mahajanpad, sorry. Magda was a very powerful Mahajanpad. The second Mahajanpad that we are going to talk about is Vajji. Now, Vajji again is in present day Bihar, and the capital of Vajji was Vaishali. Now, they had a very peculiar and different kind of government during that time, and it used to be called as Gana or Sangh. Gana or Sangh. Now, what was this Gana? Gana means it actually Gana or Sangh means it's a group of people. So not one person would rule. It would be a group of people, collective people who will rule, and each one of them was a Raja, was considered a Raja. Now when the decision was to be taken, not just one person will take, they all will collectively sit together and decide upon a decision for any problem, whatever they wanted to take. So they will, each one of them, it's not like one person will take, everybody who is collectively part of that Gan or Sangha will unanimously reach to a solution to any problem. So even if we had even 1,000 men rule a Gana, like there could be 1,000 men who are part of this Gan or Sangh, then all that 1,000 men will be together collectively taking some decision. Not one person can take. And they performed different rituals together, and this kingdom lasted for about 1500 years ago. Now, so this means not just one but many rulers. They met in assemblies to take important decisions, but the women, Das and Karamkaras could not participate in assembly. But that does not mean that women were not respected that time. They were respected, but their boundaries were confined to houses only. Okay, but beyond the houses, the participation was not permitted. Now, we find the description about Jan or Sangh in different Jainism and Buddhist book. Even the Buddha and Mahavira, they belong to Gan or Sangh. Now, once what happened, because Ajatashatru, the Magda ruler, he many times he wanted to conquer Vajjis. So, the Vajjis sent one of his minister called Vasakara to Buddha to take advice on this matter, how to protect Vajji from the attacks of Ajatashatru. So, what Buddha asked him, are you people in Vajji still taking discussing different matters collectively? Are you meeting and establishing different rules collectively? Are you, are the elders respected? Are women respected? So he said, yes, we all are doing it. And then he said, you stay, don't worry, don't be scared, stay happy and contented. Nothing can happen to you if you are doing all these things. So they held full and frequent public assemblies. That means everybody had their say. So they met and acted together. He said, yes, we are doing all these things. So Buddha said that you don't have to worry. Okay, that Vaji women were not held by force or captive. That means this line, if you see, that means the women were respected. Okay, so elders were respected, women were respected, and local shrines were maintained in both towns and villages. Saints who followed different beliefs were respected. So he said that if you're doing all these things, then you don't have to worry. Vaji will be protected from any external attack. Now, around 2500 years ago, when we had these practices that we have discussed for Mahajanpad, different form of government, we in Athens and Greece, we had a different type of government, which is democracy that we have discussed, and many parts of the world presently have democratic set of government. So, in Athens, in that time, 2500 years ago, they had a system of democracy which lasted for about 200 years. Now, all free men, those men who were above the age of 80, they were called free men, and they were recognized as full citizen, and they were allowed to vote. Now, who were not considered as citizens? First of all, the women, then very many foreigners and slaves. They were not treated as citizens and were not allowed to cast their vote and they will not take part in the process of the government. Now, the women who were there, they were not considered. There were many foreigners who lived and worked there as merchant of craft persons. They were not, again, not allowed. They were not treated as citizens, and there were many slaves who worked in mines, fields, household, and workshops. They again were not treated as citizens. Now, in the assembly, the people met around 40 times a year to decide important matters. All citizens could attend these meetings, and there was a lottery system. Suppose a person wants to get appointed, he will give his name, and through the lottery process, if he is selected, he will be part of this government. Thanks for watching. Please do watch it again for better understanding. Thank you.